Shabbat Shalom, everybody. How many people made it in before the water got to them? Boy, it's raining out there. So I am going to warn people who are watching online, whether you're watching it live or you're going to watch it later, but we may have some glitches from the rain because internet works like that. Why? I don't know. But we're glad that you're here today. We have Shabbat to celebrate, and we have a Bat Mitzvah to celebrate. Natalia is going to be leading the service. I believe that you will find that she will inspire you. And listen carefully. She's got magnificent things to say, and I'm inspired by her. You have something that looks like this. It's supposed to be an adorable little suitcase. And it says in little letters, "Do not open." The rabbi will explain what to do. Do not open it. I'm going to explain what to do. Do not open it. I'll tell you when to open it. I'll tell you what to do with it. It is a suitcase because Natalia is taking on you a little voyage. Everybody's going to have a bon voyage moment for the whole rest of the day. Imagine that you are going, Rabbi Heschel said that Shabbat is like a vacation in space and time. So we can imagine that we are taking a little Shabbat vacation, certainly from our everyday things. So hold on to this until I tell you what to do with it, please. And how many people have never been here before? Awesome. Never been to Natalia's Bat Mitzvah before. Dad's raising his hand. Papa's raising his hand. So I know that that's what he means. So if you have not been here before, I'm going to give you, for everybody, I'm going to give you a little description of what happens. The prayer books are, for most of you, in front of you in the pews. They're light gray. If you want one that pretends that you're reading in Hebrew direction, then you could take a dark gray one. They're up there too. They're the same exact book. It was very cool how they did this, that they put the page numbers in the center on the bottom. So they print out the pages, they stack them up. If they bind them this way, then you pretend you're reading a Hebrew book. If they bind it this way, then you pretend you're reading an English book, and it's the same exact thing. The prayer book in Hebrew is called a siddur. Siddur means, you may have recognized the word from seder. It means order. It will follow a specific order. Every Jewish service that you will go to in the world will follow the order that we are doing today. Not everybody does the same thing, and not everybody sings the same melodies, but everybody will do the same thing. The Hebrew will all be in the same order. If we are doing Hebrew, 99% of the time, maybe even more, you will see a transliteration as well. So, for example, I'm going to pick a page, any page 114, for example. If you turn to page 114, you will see Hebrew, and we may read it or chant it, which means she's going to do that. I get to do almost nothing today. That's why I'm talking to you now. But she will read it or she will chant it. Most of the time, if there's Hebrew, there will be transliteration with it, which means what I call looks like English, sounds like Hebrew. You are welcome to sing along with us by using the Hebrew or the transliteration. Below that, right immediately following it, 99% of the time there is a translation. So you can look at what it is in English. Most of the time, we will either do Hebrew or English. Most of the time, we will not do both. So expect that if, let's say, on this, and this is a page we're going to be doing it on, she's going to be chanting the Hebrew, and then she's going to be chanting the Hebrew on the next page. We're not going to be doing the English because she already did it. So if you want to know what you just sang, then you're going to have to look at the English. For a few things, we'll do it both. And then you go to the next page. So it's not so hard to follow. If people stand or will signal to you to stand, that's a moment of more respect. But if it's uncomfortable for you to stand, or if you are not sure what you are standing about and you'd rather sit down, please stay seated. That's okay. And I think that will cover what you need to know for now until we get to the Torah service, and then there are a few other key things that I'll have to let you know. I want to tell you something kind of special about today. Natalia, stand up for a sec. Front and center. Here's Natalia. Everybody say hi to Natalia. She looks beautiful today. And this talit, that's what I wanted to say. There was a special private presentation of the talit that her papa picked out for her, and it is beautiful. So I just wanted you to see her talit, the beautiful colors in it and everything. So this is, as an adult Jewish person, she gets to wear one if she's leading the service. Some people wear them in the morning. If you need one, we have more extras, but she's starting. We are starting our service then. But I know it's not Friday. Usually Friday we start our service with taking a deep breath and letting the stress out. But it's still Shabbat, so you're still allowed to breathe. So I encourage everybody to take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Are you breathing? She's breathing this time. Okay, good. Try it again. Let it out slowly. And be ready for our service. We begin our service on page 99. We're going to sing for you. We're going to sing how good it is, how pleasant it is when we're all here together. We've been singing this song forever. During the pandemic, we realized that sometimes we could be together even when we're not together. By the way, I have to let you know, people are watching this on YouTube. There's a camera here and a camera there, so know that that's there. You going to help me with this? Max, she needs a mic. We on? Whoop. Nope, now we're on. Guitar? Mic. It's all working. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. You want to do this page?
Surrounded by the members of the community in which I live, I come before you, eternal God. I share my happiness with them, and it becomes greater. I share my trouble with them, and it seems smaller. May I never be too selfish to give, nor too proud to receive. For in giving and receiving, I discover you, as I begin to discover the meaning of my life. Let me not separate myself from the true strength of my community, the experience and the wisdom of old people, the hopes of the young, and the examples of care and courage which sustain me. Give me an open heart and open mind to welcome those who need me, and receive your presence in my daily life. I think of what our community could be and the harmony that could unite us. I think of our loneliness and the friendship that could fill our lives. I think of the good that we could do if we were one in spirit. I know that this is your will and pray for your help. May I and those around me find our joy together, and thank you for the power you give us to help each other.
Let's continue on page 108. Whoa. Yes.
Yikadal vikara shemei rabba.
Amen.
Ba'alma divra churute, v'al michmal chute, b'chayehon uv'omechon, uv'ha'edeho Beit Yisrael, ba'gala, ba'gala, uv'izman kariv, v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach, La'olam Amaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Vishtabach, Vitpar, Vitroman, Vitnase, Vitadar, Vitale, Vital, Shmei Kudasha, Barihu, Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amim b'alma, v'imru amen. Baruch hu Adonai, hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. Your mercy makes light to shine over the earth and all its inhabitants, and your goodness renews day by day the work of creation.
How manifold are your works, O God. In wisdom you have made them all. The heavens declare your glory. The earth reveals your creative power. You form light and darkness, bring harmony into nature, and peace to the human heart. We praise you, O God, creator of light.
Deep is your love for us, abiding your compassion. From of old we have put our trust in you, and you have taught us the laws of life. Be gracious now to us, that we may understand and fulfill the teachings of your word.
Enlighten our eyes in your Torah, that we may cling to your mitzvot. Unite our hearts to love and revere your name. We trust in you and rejoice in your saving power, for you are the source of our help. You have called us and drawn us near to you in faithfulness. Joyfully we lift up our voices and proclaim your unity, O God. In love you have called us to your service.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kevo Malachuto Leolam Vaed. V'ahavta et Adonai lehecha b'chol levaha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol ma'odeha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher otznihi mitzvavecha hayom al levavecha v'shnatam levanecha v'rotam bam B'shivtecha v'vitecha, u'v'leftecha v'derech, u'v'shochbecha, u'v'komecha, u'kshavta me'ot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot beinecha, u'chatavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'v'yisharecha, l'man tizkaru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, Bikem kedoshim le'elehem, ani Adonai Elohim, asher hotzeit yedhem me'eretz Mitzrayim, le'ot lachem le'elohim, ani Adonai Elohim, Adonai Elohim, emet.
You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words, which I command you this day, upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God.
Eternal truth, it is that you alone are God, and there is none else.
May all the world rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares.
Let them beat their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation. Let them study war no more.
You shall not hate another in your heart. You shall love your neighbor as yourself.
Let the stranger in your midst be to you as a native, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
From the house of bondage we went forth to freedom. So Mi hamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi hamocha nehedar b'kodesh, noratehi Sefele, Nora Tehilot, O Sefele.
O Rock of Israel, rise up to Israel's help. Baruch Atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Our Redeemer is God's Most High, the Holy One of Israel. Adonai Sifata Tiftach Ufia Gitehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Koneh HaKol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, u'mevii Geula livnei v'nehem, L'ma'an Shemo b'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor L'Am Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav L'Hoshia, Mechalkei Chaim b'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol b'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim v'Rofeh Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato L'Shnei Afar, Mi Chamocha Ba'al Gevorot, U'Mido Melach, Melech Memit U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Natalya Chayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayei HaKol. We continue on the page, in the middle of the page on 116. We sanctify your name on earth, even as all things to the end of time and space. Proclaim your holiness, and in the words of the prophet, we say, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech al haaretz kivodo. Source of our strength, sovereign God, how majestic is your name in all the earth.
Baruch kavod Adonai mimkomo.
You alone are our God and our Creator. You are our ruler and our helper. And in your mercy, you reveal yourself in the sight of all the living. Ani Adonai Elohim. Yimloch Adonai le'olam. Elohai Tzion. Ledor vador. Hallelujah. To all generations, we will make known your greatness, and to all eternity, proclaim your holiness. Your praise, God, shall never depart from our lips. Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. We praise you, Eternal One, the Holy One. I get a break after this.
Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomerei, Shomerei, Shomerei Shabbat, Korei onei Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shvi Shabbat. Kulam yisbehu v'yidangu mituvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomerei, Shomerei, Shomerei Shabbat, Korei onei Shabbat. V'hashvi ratzita bo v'kidashto חמדת ימים, אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, קורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, קורא עונג שבת. Our God, God of our fathers and our mothers, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our way of life. Satisfy us with your goodness,
gladden us with your salvation,
and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal God, let your holy Sabbath remain our heritage, that all Israel, hallowing your name, may find rest and peace. We praise you, O God, for the Sabbath and its holiness. Eternal God, establish this sanctuary dedicated to your holy name, so that the worship offered within its walls may be worthy of your greatness and your love. May every heart which seeks your presence here find it, as did our people in the temple on Zion, that this house may be a house of prayer for all peoples. God, our Creator, hear our prayer and bless us. Have compassion upon the house of Israel. Preserve us from sickness, from war, from strife. Keep us from hatred and uncharitableness toward our neighbors, and grant that, dwelling in safety and walking in uprightness, we may enjoy the fruit of our labors in peace. God, our teacher, hear our prayer and bless us. Be with all who spend themselves for the good of humanity and bear the burdens of others, who give bread to the hungry, clothe the naked, and provide shelter for the homeless. Establish, O God, the work of their hands, and grant them an abundant harvest of the good seed they are sowing. God, our Redeemer, hear our prayer and bless us. Bless our children, O God, and help us so to fashion their souls by precept and example, that they may ever love the good and turn from evil, revere your teaching, and bring honor to their people. May they guard for future ages the truths revealed to our ancestors. God, our friend, hear our prayer and bless us. We give thanks for the freedom that is ours, and we pray for those in other lands who are persecuted and oppressed. Help them to bear their burdens and keep alive in them the love of freedom and the hope of deliverance. Uphold also the hands of our brothers and sisters in the land of Israel. Cause a new light to shine upon Zion and upon us all, that the time may come when your Torah will go forth from the house of Israel, your word from the tents of Jacob. We praise you, our God, whose presence gives life to our people Israel. We gratefully acknowledge that you are our God and the God of our people, the God of all generations. You are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank you and sing your praises for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. You are goodness, your mercies never end. You are compassion, your love will never fail. You have always been our hope. Praise be the eternal God, to whom our thanks are due. I think that's God saying amen. Did you hear that? That's what I think. God likes your service. We are about to sing a song about peace on page 122, and you need to, sorry? Your mic? Max, are you making sure she's got a mic? Concentrate. Mine too? Is this on? Yes. Song about peace. You can sing along because some of the words are in French. Watch. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Here comes the French part. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. I told ya. Ya la 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 ya la la. Ya la la ya la 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 la. Sim 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 shalom sim 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 shalom sim 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 shalom tova uver. You want to do the French part again? Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la 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 la. Sim 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 shalom sim 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 shalom sim 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 shalom tova uveracha. Up until now in our service, we have given you words to say and that will inspire you. But now is a time where you can either use the words that are on the bottom of page 123 or whatever words are in your heart. It's time for a silent, personal, private prayer. We pray silently. Yehiyu leratson.
May the words of my mouth
Imre fi vehegyon libi.
and the meditations of my heart
Lefanecha.
be acceptable to you.
Lefanecha.
Be acceptable to you.
Adonai Tzuri.
God, my rock,
Tzuri v'goali.
my rock and my redeemer.
Adonai Tzuri
God, my rock
v'goali.
and my redeemer.
I love that, doing that with you. As you can sit for a second, I'm going to talk to them again. So we are about to do the Torah Service. I put all my stuff on your chair because I forgot you had to sit down there. There's going to be a point, it's not yet, there's going to be a point where I'm going to tell you to open this box. I'm going to show you when to open it. You have to be very quiet and discreet when you do it because it will be while she is doing a prayer, so you need to please be respectful as you do it. Inside you will find, I know it's not a surprise to some of you, candy. There's candy inside it. It is not supposed to be refreshments for the congregation. That comes after the service. In fact, you're not supposed to eat in the sanctuary at all. Please don't eat in the sanctuary. It is supposed to be so that you can take these cute little packets and gently toss them at Natalia to teach her that learning is sweet. Gently toss. I want to remind you, this is a tradition that has been going on for hundreds of years. But we have a tradition now to make it especially gentle because we have this lovely glass arc door we would like to keep. It's lovely. And please be careful how you toss them because in the wisdom of the decorator, they decided to put what I affectionately call candy bowls up hanging from the ceiling. But it shouldn't have candy in those candy bowls, please. So gently toss them, but not high enough to go into the candy bowls. I know, Rabbi, challenge accepted, right? Please don't. And please gently toss them at her because I need her for the rest of the service, so please don't hurt her. But that's what's going to happen. There should be enough for each of you, and then afterwards, anyone who is a child or a child at heart is going to get to come and get them. If it turns out that you eat them once you're out the door, There's a trash can out there for any of the trash you have, which includes this adorable little suitcase and the wrappers, but please don't eat them in the sanctuary. So that's what this is going to be for. Please watch me for my signals. I will show you when to start opening this, if I remember. I will show you when to start tossing. I'll remember that. Nobody toss it with the box. That would be bad. That would hurt. And then we will show her that learning is sweet, as if she hasn't figured that out already. So in the Torah service, which will begin on page 141, some family members have been given honors. If you haven't been told yet that you were given an honor, then we may be surprising you in the middle of service. No, I think you already know who you are. I'm going to tell you something. I don't get to say this. I've never gotten to say this ever before, and I may never get to say it again. Natalia has done an amazing job of studying. She's already inspiring you with the way she's presenting the service. She's inspiring me. But she also kind of took control. I know that may not surprise anybody who knows her. She kind of took control of making sure who got which honors, right? Which honors, and they know what they're doing, and I'm very impressed with that. Usually I get to help with that a little bit, and she took care of that, and I'm very, very pleased with what she's done. But in addition to that, I think that you'll be impressed with how she will be reading her Torah portion and her Haftarah portion. B'nai Zion's tradition is often, when we read Haftarah during a bar bat mitzvah, it's usually in English. And the Murov family has kind of raised the bar for a lot of people, and they chant it in Hebrew. And I know that many of you who grew up in other congregations learned to chant it, but it's not something that we do here. I wasn't going to tell you that. You'll have to figure out what we mean when I tell you that Natalia and I kind of, what we call ninja'd the Haftarah chanting, so we kind of snuck up on it. That's what we say. We snuck up on it and taught ourselves how to do this Haftarah chant and the Torah chant. And I think you're going to be very impressed with what she does. Some of you have already done this before. Some of you have never seen this before. When she reads from the Torah, she is going to be reading, she's going to be chanting. She has to remember which melody to sing for each part. She has to remember which words to say. There's no vowels. There's no punctuation. If you know any Hebrew, you can see the Hebrew in your book. If you don't know any Hebrew, the little dots and the dashes underneath the letters, those are the vowels. When people hear that there are no vowels in the Hebrew, I don't know what you think. You think that if I say shalom, there's no vowel sounds and they just say shalom. That's not the way it works. The vowel sounds are there, you just don't see them. It's why I never understand why anybody needs to buy a vowel ever, because I can see all the vowels even when they're not there. So why waste your money? But she will be doing that, and it may not impress you, but it impresses me that she can do this. So I hope that you can appreciate that. Plus, some of the lines that she's reading from Torah, she just learned how to do a few weeks ago. And because of the pandemic, I don't know, I'm making this number up, but 99% of the studying we have been doing together has been via Zoom, which makes for a complicated study. We can't both sing V'ahavta at the same time and hear each other. We're just hearing ourselves most of the time. There's always the problem of, wait, I think your internet's down. Wait, I can't hear. You know, there's that happening. But we've been in the sanctuary only a few times, so I'm impressed with how well we've been able to remember who does what in the service already. So for the Torah reading, we are not going to be marching around with the Torah because COVID. And we didn't want to go around breathing on everybody or having to kiss the Torah. But I want to remind you that it is important that you know that the Torah is not something that lives in a holy closet up here and does not get to come out. It is part of us. It's not so far away that we don't have access to it. We each have access to it. So we begin our Torah service on page 141. And I'm going to tell you one other thing. I'm going to confess to you what happens. Because Natalia had studied her Haftarah a little bit and her Torah a little bit for a Bat Mitzvah last year when she turned old enough to be Bat Mitzvah, and then pandemic hit and she couldn't do a service where her family could be here, we are using the same Torah portion that she studied for last year. So it is the same Torah portion that some of you already did last week. I'm just letting you know that. We are going to hear something about the story of Joseph. Listen for the name Yosef in the story. And I think that you're going to appreciate her insights on this. We continue on page 141. Would the people who are opening the ark and the people who are undressing make a big crowd up here, please? Assembled at a mountain, our people, still bent from oppression, found you, found your Torah, found your truth, and embraced the destiny that has shaped worlds. Help us still to shape the world. That's your part on 141. That's your part. You see where we are? Help us still to shape the world according to your will. Help us to teach and to learn, to hear your word anew, and to find in it our path to goodness and truth. Please rise when the ark is open and turn to the middle of 142 where we sing, but you don't have transliteration. El harachamim hetiva v'rtzonecha et Sion tivne chomot Yerushalayim tivne chomot Yerushalayim kivecha levad batachnu melech el ram v'nisa adon olamim. Let us declare the greatness of our God and give honor to the Torah. Ki mitzion tetze Torah, ki mitzion tetze Torah, udevar Adonai mirushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, la'amo Yisrael, bekedushato. Beit Yaakov, l'chu v'nelcha ba'or Adonai, house of Jacob, come, let us walk by the light of our God. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad, echad Eloheinu, gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlu Ladonai iti, uneromim Shemo yachdav, O magnify the Eternal One with me, and together let us exalt God's name. We're going to turn back to page 141 at the bottom and sing that song while we're undressing the Torah. I'll let you know in a minute that you can sit down, but not yet. Al shlosha divarim, Al shlosha divarim. The ark can get closed. Al shlosha divarim. Haolam, haolam omed. Al shlosha divarim. Al shlosha divarim. Al shlosha divarim. Haolam, haolam omed. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gmilut chasadim, al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gmilut chasadim, al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim, al shlosha divarim, ha'olam, ha'olam omed. You may be seated. Thank you very much. For our first aliyah, I need to call up Natalia's parents. All right, you ready? She's going to show you what to kiss. Ya'amdu morin vari ben Avraham rishonim hahorim. Vayomer. No,
That's
Vayomer.
Vayomer.
You want to say Vayigash, you can. Good. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach la'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach la'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים,
ונתן לנו את תורתו, ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
Amen. Okay, open.
Y'all can go. Bye-bye.
Stay here.
Bye.
She needs you. Come on. Yep, you need to hold the Torah for her.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody on that side? Go ahead. Maureen, you could be on one side, and Ari Ben Avraham can be on the other side. Is this one? Okay, hold on. Wait. Let's unroll again. 1 second. We want this to be in the middle. In case you've never seen this up here, there's a tradition that the Torah is written in columns like this. You can see one as you walk toward the Lefkowitz Hall. There's one in a cabinet that's open, but they're in columns and pillars. And when you're reading, you try to honor the pillar on the right and the pillar on the left that are not necessarily getting read, but you don't want to embarrass them. You want to honor them anyway. So we have it open so that the panel she's reading from is the center, and there's one to the right and left, and we almost couldn't open it like that. So sorry about that. Readjusting. And you amen.
Amen. Vayomer Yosef Elahav Ani Yosef Ha'od Avi Hirai Velo Yaklu Echav Lano Oto Ki Nivhalu Mipanav Vayomer Yosef Elachav Gashuna Elai V'Yagashu Vayomer Ani Yosef Achihem Asher Machartem Oti Mitzrayma V'ata Al Te'at Savu V'al Yihar Be'einahem Ki Machartem Oti Hena Ki Humichia Shalahani Elohim Lifnehem.
That's your last word. Point to. There you go.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tokenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Now you can hug and kiss. And I forgot to tell you that inside your handouts, you can find the translation of what she's reading. She's not going to read it to you, but on the inside, you can see the Torah portion that she's reading. This is the selection that she chose. Now, what I consider to be the most important moment of this morning is we call up our Bat Mitzvah. Ta'amod liat bat Yomorin Bat Mitzvah. Okay.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'char banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ki zeh shenatayim hara'av b'kerev ha'aretz v'od hamei shanim asher ein harish v'katzir v'ish laheni Elohim lifnahem lasum lahem she'erit ba'aretz ulachahayot lahem lifleta gadola v'ata lo atem shelachatem oti hena Ki ha'Elohim va'isamei la'av le'faro ula'adon l'ho beito u'moshel b'chol eretz Mitzrayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam l'tabotochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Now, Donald. Donald, you come up because you're very, very, very strong, everybody said. And Billy Ray and Ginger, please come up to help us dress. When we lift the Torah, I am going to ask you could turn to page 145.
right?
We have a song that's in the middle there.
We open this right?
He's going to open. He knows how to do it. You know how to do it? You know, open.
Open
Here, let me show you. Yeah, let's see some Torah. This is. Get ready to stand, everybody.
Good luck with
Use
your
this
left
as a
hand.
fulcrum, and then lean it, and then go up. Vizot Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei v'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad. Yep, Moshe. You may be seated. You may be seated. And you have to do your next thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's in your book. All right. That goes this way.
You are welcome to look at the inside pages of the handout for the translation of the Torah and Haftarah section. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher bahar bimvim tovim v'ratzav v'devrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'bimveh ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayhidav Adonai Elai lemor v'ata ben Adam kach lecha etz echad ukatov alav lihuda v'livnei Yisrael haverav ulekach etz echad ukatov alav liosef etz Ephraim v'hol beit Yisrael haverav v'karav otam echad el echad lecha le'etz echad v'hayu lechadim b'yadecha v'ka'asher yomru elecha b'nei amcha lemor halo tagilanu ma'elelach daber alehem ko amar Adonai Elohim hinei ani lokeach ez Yosef asher biad Ephraim v'shiftei Yisrael haverav v'natati otam alav ez Yehuda v'asitim la'etz echad v'hayu echad biyadi v'hayu ha'etzim asher tiktov alehem biyadcha le'einahem v'daber alehem ko amar Adonai Elohim hinei ani lokeach et bnei Yisrael mi bein hagoyim asher chalchu sham v'kibatzti otam misaviv v'heveti otam el admatam v'asiti otam legoy echad ba'aretz b'harei Yisrael umhelech echad yihiel huam lamelech v'lo yihiod lishnei goyim v'lo yahatzu lishtei mamlecho v'lo yitamu b'gulahem uv'shikutzachem uv'hol pishahem v'hoshati otam mikol mishotechem asher hastu vahem v'tiharti otam v'hayuli la'am v'ani eheyeh lahem l'Elohim v'avdi David melech alehem v'ro'eh ehad yihiel hulam u'mishpatai alehu v'chukotai shmaru v'asu otam v'yashvu al haaretz asher natati la'avdi le'Yaakov, asher yashvuva avotechem, v'yashvu alea hema, uvenem, v'nehem ad olam, v'David avdid, nasi lahem, la'olam, v'harti lahem, bari shalom, bari olam, yihya otam, untatim v'her beiti otam, v'natati et mikdashi, b'tocham, la'olam, v'haya mishkani alehem, v'rohi lahem l'Elohim, v'hema yihui la'am, v'yad'u hagoyim, ki ani Adonai, makadesh et Israel, b'hiyo mikdashi, b'tocham la'olam. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, zor kol haolamim, tzadik b'chol hadarot, ha'el ha'nemhan, ha'omer v'oseh, hamdaber u'mkayeh, shechol devarav, emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah, v'al avodah, v'al v'avim, v'al yon ha'shabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, liktusha v'limnucha, l'kavod u'tifaret, al hakol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, umbarchim otah, yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol ha'amid, tamid l'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, makadesh ha'shabbat. I need to get this on. Okay, y'all can throw it at me. Yay! Yeah, gently.
Gently, 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 gently. Gently,
Yeah.
gently. Gently, gently. Toss. Learning is sweet. Sweet, sweet. Gently, gently. Gently, gently.
Yay. Okay, that's enough of that.
Okay, Torah's coming back. Please stop. Please stop. Torah's coming back. If you are wanting candy, or if you are younger than she is, then you are very welcome to come up and grab all the candy because we got to clean up the space. But do not eat it in the sanctuary. And there's a trash can outside the sanctuary. You okay?
Yeah.
They didn't hurt you too much?
No.
Phew.
Oh yeah, you can have the yummer if that's vegan.
Oh, I see more. Come on, keep cleaning, keep cleaning.
Hurry over there.
Hurry, hurry. Oh my goodness, you needed bigger pockets in that jacket. You're dressed very nice. We need to design like the Bat Mitzvah suit so that they've got pockets like this. Yay. Are you ready? You good?
Mm-hmm.
It's cold?
Kind of cold, but it's okay.
So at this point in the service, Natalia is going to teach you some lessons about what she has learned. And I didn't explain to you, you know, the Torah portion for the week is about this long. And she has to study this and learn about the whole Torah portion. But then we ask questions about it. And from this, she picks a small section that she wants to talk to you about, that she has gotten some special insights about. So that's why when Papa comes up and says, Vayigash, that's the first word, right? We didn't do the first word. We were somewhere in the middle. And I think you'll understand why she chose the selection she did, because of how she slowly explains it to you.
My Torah portion is called Vayigash. It describes the reuniting of Joseph in Egypt with his family. Joseph reveals himself to his siblings. They don't answer first, but then he follows with, "Don't be troubled, because you sold me here, for it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you." I think that this is saying that Joseph forgives his brothers for sending him away, and that it was not as horrible as they imagined it was for him. He thinks God has brought him ahead of his brothers to save them, and many other people. I chose my selection of the portion because it shows something very important. It shows forgiveness. It is actually the first time we hear about forgiveness in the Torah. When Joseph is telling his brothers who he is and not to be afraid, he's also explaining that he is choosing not to hold on to a grudge. He is saying that he's alive and grateful. I really connected with this part of the Torah portion the most. Joseph certainly could have been very angry with his brothers. They got rid of him, and which caused him to be a slave and caused him to go to prison. But when Joseph tells his brothers that he is their brother and he is not dead, he did not think, well, they sold me and banished me, I will not forgive or be kind. He forgave. Like Joseph, I have a lot of siblings. Sometimes we do things we regret to each other. I learned from Joseph that when one of my siblings takes one of my belongings or does not ask for one of my things and just takes it, I can choose not to hold a grudge. Maybe I should look at the bigger picture and instead think they are taking it because they know I look good in it and they want to try it for themselves. That isn't necessarily the best example of what I mean, but I do really appreciate the way that Joseph forgave his brothers, realizing that he became who he was no matter what their intentions were. And he was glad about who he became, so they absolutely did not need to feel guilty. Another question that I thought about from this portion is whether the story is saying that God controls everything, and that what people choose to do really does not matter. We know that Joseph needed to end up in Egypt, taking care of things. It turns out that the brothers tried to get rid of him, and that is why he wound up in Egypt. Was that God's doing, or did the brothers have a choice? It almost felt like the forgiveness that Joseph showed was saying that only God had control, and that was why Joseph didn't blame his brothers. Joseph's fate was to wind up in Egypt all along. The brothers were just part of that fate. Rabbi Jana and I spent some time discussing this question about fate in our lives. I thought it was interesting. Personally, I do not believe in fate. I am not the type of person to say things happen for a reason. That is why I wanted to share my views about this aspect of the Torah portion with you. Fate is an odd idea, and in this particular story, you could see it in two ways. One way is the way that Joseph wants to see it, that God made the brothers put him in slavery to wind up in Egypt and then help Pharaoh. However, it didn't feel like God wanted the brothers to get rid of Joseph, certainly not to the brothers. And elsewhere in the portion, we learn that Joseph makes the Egyptians give everything they have to the Pharaoh to be able to eat and save their lives. I don't feel like this is the way I want to think of God being in control of things. I still do not believe that our choices have already been chosen by God. I have learned that being a Jewish adult means making choices. I chose to celebrate becoming a Bat Mitzvah with you. It is important to me because it's the next big step in my Judaism. I'm becoming a Jewish adult. As we know, I was about to lead my Bat Mitzvah service this time last year, but COVID chose to show up. I could have called it quits, saved hours of extra time preparing, and not made my parents spend a lot of money. But like I said, I wanted to become a Jewish adult and have more of a connection to Judaism. So I put in a year more of studying. I've learned to chant Haftarah and Torah. It has been great. It also gave me more time to think about a mitzvah project. In case you did not hear about my project during last night's service, you're invited to see the short video I made about it. I wanted to find a way to stop climate change. The video will be playing during the Kiddush luncheon, and links to it can also be found in the handout. Maybe not, because the wrong one got printed, but it's on the Benedetti website. And that's that. During this year, I also felt more committed to being Jewish by showing up. What I might mean by this is I go to Friday service, the occasional Saturday service, and celebrate the holidays. This year, most of the time, we have been attending services by staying home and participating by watching on YouTube. I realized that in order to stay connected to my Jewish roots, I think I'm going to learn the language. That could be fun or torture. Something that's definitely fun is that you have chosen to be with me and my family today. Thank you to everyone who came to celebrate with us, whether you are here in person or on YouTube. Thank you to all my friends who came and are here to help celebrate with me. Ivy, I thank you for so many things. But first, I would like to say that in no way was I forced to acknowledge her too, because she acknowledged me on her day. But anyway, I'm grateful for you when you lift me up to my cheerful self. We share many jokes, and we have a lot of hilarious memories, including E2, the class, or Rabbi Feivel's class. Rabbi Feivel, I don't think you're here today, but Rabbi Cindy, you're probably listening. We had less than a year of classes together. You started teaching me trope and more. Then, unfortunately, the pandemic stopped us from meeting in person. But I will always remember you as a mentor for my Bat Mitzvah. Thank you for starting my journey. And Rabbi Sydney, we also had like a year, and it was, short, but I remember bingo, and bingo was the best. Yeah, I loved bingo in your class. Rabbi Jana, thank you for helping me all with the Haftarah. Like you said, we ninja did it, and I think we did a great job. For helping me come up with a sermon, that was hard, and for doing it all on Zoom with me. That was really fun. The stories were fun, and I got to meet your cat. I was the first person to meet your cat.
That's right, first person.
I have a lot of aunts, uncles, and cousins, so I'll not be thanking each of you individually, but I love when we or y'all come to visit, and I'm always excited when we can get together. Grandma, there's a lot to say, but I will make it as short as can be. Pre-COVID, when we ate dinner at your house on Wednesdays, it was always a thing I would look forward to. When someone asked, what is your favorite day of the week, I would say Wednesday, because I couldn't wait for the food. Your cooking and baking skills are exquisite, and you make the actual best of everything. I even made her make a recipe book so that I can always have them. You're also really funny. Every time we get together, there'd be something you'd say that make us all laugh. It'd brighten my day. Thank you, Grandma. I love you. Milena, I'm a Capricorn, and you're a Gemini, which is pretty fitting. We disagree on a lot of things, and we are both always rolling eyes at each other. I do admire you in the way you manage your school, social, and work life. You have like 5 jobs, 3 friends, and you're all in honors. And you're all in honors in AP classes. Not to mention you're getting all A's. It's really amazing to see you work like this, and I hope that with my workload, I can still find time to have fun like you do. And I'll try not to miss you when you're at college. Maybe expect to get phone calls from me. Thank you. Alex, you're a great big brother, minus being late everywhere. You repeatedly make sure to make me laugh when I'm upset at you or Papa. The days I'll cherish always are where I'll hang out with you in your bedroom. We'll clean and talk about your friends, Anna, and really anything. I always enjoy them. Yes. I also appreciate how you'll pick me over Anna anytime she asks if I'm the favorite or she's the favorite, even though we know you're all kidding. And can I say, I'm so glad that you are good at any subject. It's great that you can help me with my homework, so I don't have to rely only on just Milena's teaching. Alex, thanks for being the one that I know I can come to if bored in a crowd. Oh, Anna, you're a wild card. From your contagious laugh to when you seem to be clueless about everything, it breaks the silence in every room. You have a way of making me smile in many ways. At camp, when you would come up to me and start talking in the weirdest country accent of all, it would freak me out. But you did it when I needed someone to talk to the most. And we don't do this anymore, but I still do, our therapy sessions. It was somehow soothing to talk to you about my day, or about someone who was annoying me and I needed to rant. I'm also glad that you have some good taste in music, because now I don't have to just know the boring 2010 songs that play on K94.5. Thanks, Anna. You're great. We're missing somebody's acknowledgement. It's somewhere in here.
We have her.
Is she asleep? Is that what you said? Oh, no. We don't have it, but I know what I was going to say.
Oh, say something cute.
Okay. This is from my memory. Okay, Margaret. We
Try.
also don't get along at all.
Didn't
But-
say that.
Yeah. But you do have a creative side to you. With your artistic abilities, you make great stories, even if they don't make sense. And you also are great with the way of getting money. You somehow can get Papa to give you $1 or $2 by taking his plate to the sea or getting him dessert. It's great. What else was I going to say about you? Also, even if sometimes you cry and start having a tantrum fight, I appreciate that you, when I ask you, clean up, even with your stuff, like today, and you do everything for me. I ask you to take a cup, go get my phone, and you do it all. You're very nice. Thank you. Okay, I have Mom. I'll do yours later, and maybe it's better. Mom, I'm super grateful for you. You support me when I want to change, if it's doing volleyball or cutting dairy and gluten out of my diet. And even if sometimes it seems the opposite, I love that you speak Spanish and that we have like a built-in language to learn. And hopefully I will figure it out and we can speak together. Your passion for wanting to understand things like college seeking for Milena or trying new hobbies is something I want to hear when I become an adult. I see the way you get excited about it, and it makes me laugh, but it also gives me joy. Can't wait to start our college searching journey. Thanks, Mom. I love you. Dad, I think you're the only person I will want to hear childhood stories over and over from. The stories you have are crazy, all the way from seeing a ghost train to hiding in your neighbor's bushes. I hated horror movies, but then you started making us watch old horror films made when you were a kid. Horror movies now are my favorite genre, so I have to thank you for that. And most of us know you've been working on redoing our house, and right now you're working on the bathroom. That's taken 8 years. You could call people who actually do this for a living, but you don't. It can get annoying. I'm speaking for Mom here, but the determination that you have to do it influences me, like how I want to be an interior designer or with my schoolwork. Love you all. Thank you. You are great. Okay, I'm done, I think.
Yay. So we are now going to call up her parents. I guess we could call it retaliation. I didn't mean to do that. Come on up and give her a blessing, please. Oh, I'm going to need this.
Montessori, give it up for Natalia.
Oh.
Marguerite, what do you think? Two thumbs up. 2 thumbs. So, let me gather my thoughts here. Natalia, you did wonderfully. And there's a lot of tradition going on here today. Tradition of your Talit, tradition of the Torah passing on through the generations. One of the traditions that I've seen most recently in bar and bat mitzvahs is the child wearing a T-shirt with the theme of the day. At Abe's, it was righteousness. Today, I think that that probably due to her Haftorah portion, it should be trust. The brothers, Joseph was asking his brothers to trust him, and they and it was supposed to be a reciprocal trust. In your case, you wouldn't want us wearing a T-shirt today, because if we had a T-shirt on, you would probably want to have the Eiffel Tower on it, because she's got this theme going. But I think your word should be tenacity, because of your determination to finish nice, and your focus on today, and you've done wonderfully. And then how about her singing today, Sandra? She was hitting the right notes, huh?
Totally.
Yeah, right. So even I don't know trope and how to chant trope, so now it's going to be the student teaching the teacher. That's the way it should be, right? So anyway, I think that's about all I was going to have to say. Other than, I think I heard you speak more words today than I've ever heard you in your whole life.
In 2 languages.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay. So,
Oh,
yeah.
she has
What?
nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a little more to say. I don't know. I was gonna say that your word should be could be forgiveness. Yeah, big family. We all are on each other all the time. So, and forgiveness is a skill we have to learn. So. Anyway, so yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone so much for coming and celebrating Natalia with us, and thank you all the family and friends who traveled from far away, and to all the ones who are watching on YouTube, because we know you love and support us, and that means a whole bunch. And of course, Ricky already acknowledged, but thanks to the Montessori community and all of Natalia's friends and teachers who are here today. Natalia will be graduating from the 8th grade in May after 12 years at Montessori. And I know that a lot of her tendencies and good habits were instilled and reinforced at the Montessori school, and that the school has really helped her become her best self. So, thank you. Natalia, I'm
here she
so,
goes.
yeah, so proud to be your mom, and I'm truly, truly inspired by you as I watch you grow and learn and choose to be involved in so many things that bring you joy. You've got some growing up to do still, and I'm not in a rush for you to do it, honestly. But I know that today marks a really big step in that direction, and I'm glad we get to make sweet memories together on this day that you officially take on responsibilities as an adult Jewish woman. Okay, so I know that all of your years of practicing Judaism and studying Torah, both in Shreveport and with your friends at Jacob's Camp, have given you roots in faith and a foundation for asking hard questions and questioning easy answers.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you did it. Your sermon was wonderful.
Thank you.
Showed a lot of thought. And I have no doubt that you will make the world a better place. You already do. And your life, you've definitely enriched my life. So Natalia is our 3rd child, as many of you know, and I thought, well, just a little story. So I thought I had an idea of what to expect, but of course Natalia, she did surprise me. You know. Her entrance into the world was particularly remarkable, and a lot of you may remember hearing parts of the story, even now, almost 14 years later.
I told you.
So I don't know if I need to share it again, but I will. So Natalia, well, her labor progressed faster than I anticipated, and I ended up catching her myself in the car while Ricky drove on the way to the hospital without any medical assistance. So yeah, that was scary, but also empowering. And I don't know, I'm not sure how did it affect you,
I don't know, how did it affect me?
but you know, it definitely shaped. No, we're still not on time, but
Ryan.
it definitely
She is.
definitely shaped my identity as a mother for sure. So anyway, let me see what to say. But yeah, I mean, you all know about Natalia, how she is really competitive and determined, keenly organized. Her attention to detail and beauty are great assets that one day might help her build her dream career as an interior designer. But you know, whatever happens. At home, she is a real helper and definitely cares about her environment. Thanks, Talia. She has taken charge of cleaning and works to help all of us keep on task. And that does lead, she has made some enemies along the way because of that, but yeah, but probably we're better for it. Yeah. And anyway, I just notice all the time too how she's just the kind of child who I never really have to encourage or nag her. She just comes home from school, opens her Chromebook, does all her work, spends parts of the weekend getting ready for Monday so she's not behind. I mean, she's got it together. It's really incredible. So anyway, let's see. So anyway, I just admire too how courageous you are, Natalia. I know that speaking in public and singing are not really necessarily things that have been in your comfort zone, but here you are. Yeah. Here you are. And you went for it. You did it, and it's really amazing. And I just love you so much. And just not really, just because you are. Just because you exist. Yes.
I exist.
And so anyway, keep being you and keep following your dreams.
I'll try.
Yeah, I know. You'll do it. So anyway, thank you everyone. And
So now they have a blessing to give
I remember
their
one
daughter.
more thing I wanted to say.
Oh.
So they say it takes a community, right? Well, in my case, being that I'm an older parent, I have this whole community to learn from for being how to be a parent. And the one thing that I remember mostly, ties back into the word trust. The one thing I remember mostly hearing from all of my fathers in here and their deliveries at their bar and bat mitzvahs was to trust your mother always. Your mother will always love you. Trust your mom always. And having said that and finished that, there is a special prayer in Judaism that is used at the time of a wonderful, miraculous moment or happiness. And I'd like to lead all of us now in that prayer that's called the Shehekianu. And it is Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehekianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Okay. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you. So we are going to put the Torah away. We're going to continue on page 146.
David and Jennifer.
I need the people up here who are going to be opening the ark. I can tell you who you are.
They're coming.
You know who you are.
What page is this?
In the middle of page 146, please rise as the ark is open.
Y'all can open it.
Yehalelu Adonai, Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, ki nisgav shemo levado. You got a tug on that side. Let us praise the eternal God, whose name alone is exalted. Hodu al eretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'amo tehila lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kirovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. God's teaching is perfect, reviving the soul.
God's word is unfailing, make wise the simple.
God's precepts are right, delighting the mind.
God's mitzvah is clear, giving light to the eyes.
God's doctrine is pure, enduring forever.
God's guidance is true and altogether just.
Behold, a good doctrine has been given you, my Torah. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Eitz chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar diracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem. When the ark is closed, you may be seated. At this point in our service, we turn to the inside back cover as our hearts and our prayers turn to those who are ill or recuperating. If you have someone who you know who is ill or recuperating for whom you would like us to be praying, our hearts turn to anyone who is ill, recuperating, dealing with the consequences of COVID-19 or confinement, or coping with the natural disasters we've had this past week, or recent death of loved ones. You are welcome to call out names. Anybody?
No.
You can go sit down if you want.
Okay.
Probably deserve to sit for a second. We continue on the inside back cover as we pray together. O God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. Praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. And in our congregation it has become our tradition to add, on behalf of our military, police, firefighters, EMT, doctors, nurses, and veterans, Misheberach avotenu ve'imotenu, may the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we've entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom, protecting us, or healing us in this country, in the land of Israel, and everywhere they have been called to serve. Give them courage to succeed and strength to persevere. May they return home safely. And let us say, Amen. Well, I gave Natalia a whole second to sit down, but at this time in our service, our congregation would like to honor her and give her some gifts. We will begin with Brotherhood. The president of the Brotherhood is David. Come on up and talk to us. And I guess he kind of wears a bunch of hats that he may want to talk about today. Yeah, you do. Well,
Well, this is the best part of being in Brotherhood, especially through COVID, because this is the only thing I've gotten to do. So this is great. Now, you did a fantastic job.
you.
And you're up here leading not only the congregation and people out here, but when the folks were up here, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but didn't quite know what they were doing when they were closing the ark, and Natalia's going, sending them away, sending them down. She's directing everything. You know, your family has known my family forever. My father taught your father in Sunday school. And it was over at a Gud Chachim, I believe. Was it? Yeah. And that's another thing. It's so great that our congregations are so close and that there's so many Gud Chachim members and the rabbi from Gud Chachim, Rabbi Sidney, here to celebrate with Natalia. She did such a great job. Your dad, though, reminds me of a story somebody told me of my dad. My dad passed away when I was 5, so I have to hear stories about him. And somebody asked my dad one time, well, how many kids do you have? And he said, well, I have 5. And he says, oh, you must be Catholic. He said, no, just a reckless Jew. So your dad is a reckless Jew. But he is great. Your family's great. It's so great that everybody's here to celebrate. And I mean, this is really a testament to how people feel about you and your family. It's such a big crowd here. But on behalf of the Brotherhood, we would like to give you a prayer book, and it has your name embossed on it. So no matter where your interior design career takes you, you always know you have a home in Shreveport with your people. Okay, great job.
Thank you.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
That's number 1.
Next, we have a representative, the president from the sisterhood, to give you a gift. So while she's coming up, I am going to say what we didn't say, because it's supposed to be Natalia's day and honoring her, but her dad, Papa, is the treasurer of B'nai Zion now and is the treasurer of the Federation now. And that's what I was talking about when I say many hats, and we have other person, because Shreveport, the Jewish community, wouldn't exist without this reckless Jewish guy. So we can't tell you how much we appreciate him and everything he's done.
Natalia, you did such a beautiful job and made us all feel very proud of you. And I am the oldest child of 6, so I've heard from my middle siblings that sometimes they feel kind of, lost in the shuffle. I don't know if this is something you notice and have worked on, or if it's just your natural ability to just be your distinct and beautiful and memorable self, but you certainly are. And these are some candlesticks from B'nai Zion Sisterhood. I hope they work with your decor. If not, bring them in, trade them in. We have some other ones. But memory has been mentioned, of course, a lot today. It's an important part of all these kinds of big events. And I will remember this, and I know you'll remember us. And we're so glad to welcome you as an adult Jew. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the president of our congregation, Kathy, will come. She's got stuff for you. The best part. Yeah, there's some poignant parts, because Bethany is not just the president of the sisterhood, but she's the director of the Jewish Federation, and she is moving away, so anybody who wants to be the director. But it may be the last bat mitzvah she gets to give a gift to. I had a tear. I don't know about you, but that means a lot. The prayer book that David gave, it may be the last time that a bar bat mitzvah kid is using that prayer book, because this congregation has chosen to use the new prayer book. And so in many ways, the cool thing is you don't have to get to be the middle anymore. You have all your own status with other things.
It is such a pleasure to stand here, because I got to say it really is official. Now, all of you know that when you graduated from high school, you graduated from college, you got a diploma. It had all kinds of fancy signatures on it. Well, guess what? This says you have completed all the requirements for a bat mitzvah. And my signature's on there, so that's really good, along with the rabbis and the director of the religious school. But we are so proud of you and your accomplishments. And here's the other thing. Everyone's made notice of how much this family has given to this community. Well, now we have one more who's going to add to what we do here in the community. And that's a great thing to take on. Now, the other wonderful thing, Natalia wants to go to France. This isn't going to direct her that way. But we do have a gift certificate for $250 towards a trip to Israel. And I think you ought to talk to your grandmother about the rest. Anyway, our congratulations. You did a beautiful, beautiful job.
you.
And we welcome you as an adult into this community.
Thank you. I'll take that too.
We now would like to call upon the president of Agudath Achim to tell you. Actually, Kathy, you're going to do announcements soon. I'm sorry, I should have made you get down. You can stay here. You want to sit? You want to come sit? Bob, come on up. You get to go first. Go ahead. You can have a seat.
Good Shabbos, and I want to say thank you to the Nora family and Natalia for inviting the Gudach Achim crowd here today. We enjoyed hearing her chant her Torah and Haf Torah. She did amazing. I thought she was great. Mazel tov. And I have another idea. That helmet she was wearing when we threw the candy, I think she should go on Shark Tank and market that. And see if you could sell that as protection for Bat Mitzvahs in the future. Anyway, I want to say thank you to Rosa and Raphael Padden for sponsoring the Oneg, which would have been last night because we're here today, in honor of Miguel's birthday. And we're not having services at a Gudach Achim, obviously. We're all over here today. And Havdalah time starts tonight at 6:02. Our office will be closed Thursday, December 23rd, Friday the 24th, also Monday the 27th, and Friday the 31st. Our secretary, Tessa, will be leaving town, so that's one of the reasons we'll be closing. And also Rabbi Sidney and Rabbi Feifler are going to be going out of town on vacation from December 19th through January 4th. Please reach out to Tessa in the office or me during that time if you have anything that's important that we need to handle. Havdalah and dinner on the town, Christmas Day. It's going to be 4:30 at Ming Garden. And so far we have about 20 people signed up for that, so that'll be a pretty good crowd. If you're going to go, please let me know so I can write down the names because I want to try to give them a good heads up about how many people we're going to have for that. And Exploring Judaism class will be starting Wednesdays, starting on January 12th at 7 p.m. with Rabbi Sidney. Contact Rabbi Sidney or Tessa if you're interested in that. That's all I have. Good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbos, thank you. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom and Mazel Tov to Natalia and her family, all of the family. There is no religious school or Hebrew classes until after winter break.
Yay.
Good news. Yay. So you're off the record, folks, from coming. The next 2 weekends are federal holidays, Friday, December 24th, and the 31st, and the office will be closed. We hope you will join Rabbi Jana on Zoom for the 6 p.m. Friday evening services and Saturday morning Torah study, which will be at 9:45 and 11 a.m. services both weekends. The meeting ID, which you'll be able to find online, is the temple phone number, and the passcode will be 18. The Jewish Federation is hiring a new executive director. Please send suggestions to David Branis, who you just saw, or Bethany, who you just also met.
I nominate Natalia.
That would be good.
That's what I'm thinking.
The Jewish Federation is also planning a trip to Israel for this February. Time is running out to make reservations, but go to their website for details. A real friendly reminder that according to our bylaws, the 2021 B'nai Zion dues should be paid by the end of this month. You're welcome to contact me or Ricky starting tomorrow maybe, or the office if you have any questions. The B'nai Zion Sisterhood flowers have been donated in honor of Natalia becoming a Bat Mitzvah. Shabbat Shalom and stay safe.
Thank you. So at this point in the service, I get to give Natalia a blessing in front of the ark. You're going to be turning to page 148, and we'll be doing an Aleinu right after I finish the blessing. As you know, the tradition is that while the ark is open, you rise, you stand up in honor of the words that are in the Torah. But I will be saying a private blessing to Natalia. But I wanted to tell her, and we've talked about this a little bit, I'm the oldest of a bunch of kids also, so I have no clue what it's like to be the middle one. I like to think I treated my other ones fairly, but I don't know. Especially when we hear the story about how she was born, it explains a lot about her taking control of every situation. I get it. Mm-hmm. But I also know that in our story, we know that Joseph was not the oldest. He was a middle-ish. He was almost the bottom of the barrel of the ages of the kids. But he still got to be a leader in his family. And all of the kids stepped up at some point. And I love the fact that in your family, you each get to step up in a way, but I love the fact that I watch you be a leader in your family as well. It's a very impressive thing, because I have known you since before you were you. I have known your family for a very, very long time too, and I'm very proud to see the person you're turning into, and I can't wait to see the person you turn into, and I hope that you will always stay connected to this congregation. I don't think that that's a stretch, because look, do you know, one of my favorite things to watch is when a family like this comes to B'nai Zion, and I hope that if you are not in the family, because if you're in the family, you're already going to do this, but if you're not in the family, walk with them along that confirmation wall and see all the pictures of their family all along the wall. It's an amazing thing. When I was growing up, most of our family came from the old country. You know, grandparents come from the old country. And here, there are just so many wonderful generations of people, and people who stayed here, and people who are still here. And I'm very, very proud to be part of a place that does this. But this family especially, this Mirov family, man, you're big. It's a dynasty here, and I love that. I love the fact that there are so many people from the family and that you come together for these things. And I'm very, very, very glad that we're coming together for happy occasions. Let's keep happy occasions. So we turn to page 148. I'm going to get you a book with your name on it. And we are going to open the ark, and I'm going to get to turn off. Max, would you pop our mics off for us, please? We are on page 148. Please join us. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, v'lo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kichol hamonam, v'anachnu koreim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד Emet malkeinu efesulato, kakatuv b'torato, v'yadata hayom v'hashevota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, b'shamayim ועל הארץ, ועל הארץ, מתחת אין עוד. And on the facing page we're going to sing. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד. When the ark is closed, you may be seated. And I am going to call Rabbi Sidney up to please help me with this. And I'm going to say while she's coming up, one of the blessings, another blessing being in this community is that when we have a simcha in the community, the whole community celebrates together. And I love that about our congregations. Ricky has ties to both congregations. The family has ties to both congregations. And it's so wonderful that we get to celebrate together. And I'm going to make sure you have a microphone too. Did you want to say something to her first?
Before we transition in tone, I just want to say that every Shabbat has a different flavor. Every Shabbat service you go to has a different flavor. Sometimes it's subdued, sometimes it's meditative, sometimes it's frenetic. And today is just pure joy and openness. We talked about earlier the Torah as being sweet and this Torah that can only bring pleasure and joy. And today, Natalia, all because of you, we're experiencing that. So thank you for teaching that to our congregation today in your words and your energy and your voice. Mazel tov.
At this point in our service, we acknowledge that to lose one life is as if we've lost an entire world. May we not lose sight of the enormity of the loss of so many individual lives. We honor the memories of the people who died this year, who are our first responders, those who died of COVID-19. We turn to page 151. We acknowledge those who died this year, especially in the recent tragedies from the tornadoes and the windstorms. On page 151, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We continue on page 152. Natalia thought that we should remember this way. It is hard to sing of oneness when our world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were in company with those we loved. It cannot help us to find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives most fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world, and each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one whose life now ended brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone and every life finds purpose. In addition to the names that we have in our congregations, the family, Natalia would like us to remember her grandparents, who she feels like, and I can tell you I could feel them, are here with her, smiling. We remember Abe Murov and Rita and Leonard Spillane. And we continue at the bottom of 153. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, and you have a shloshim, 2 shloshims, right?
Shloshim. We are in Shloshim for Dorothy Rosenfeld and for Annette Sturman Schwartz.
And we have parents of congregants we're remembering. We have George Rothkopf, Henry Brenner, Ron Riley, and Fred Phillips. And I forget, we have many people here who are not always here. If you've had a family, an immediate relative who died in the past 30 days, you're welcome to call that name out. If you've had a parent who died this past year, you're welcome to call that name out. And we're about to do the names for whom we're observing your sites. I have your list here, Rabbi. And that's 2.
Today we're remembering Rachel C. Frumer, Bertha Kassoff, Samuel Owen Strain, Elliot Organic, and Alan Rubin.
And at B'nai Zion this week, we're remembering Libby Bliss Abramson, Ross Stewart Offertig, Marks Bluestein, Z. Branis, Pearl G. Dover, Jules Henry Dreyfus, William R.T. Ellis, David Felsenthal, Charles G. Friedenthal, Valerie Crandall Gold, Leslie Gruber, Mary H. Grunis, Bertha Kassoff, Solomon Lipo, Caro W. Levy, Helen L. Levy, Herbert Loeb, Carol Steiner Rubenstein, Lottie Feld Selber, Louise Shaven, Sam Sklar, Joel M. Sorkin, Jacob Jack Stein, Sonia Grunis Sorenko, Alexander W. Tech, Sylvia Terrell, Sam Wiseman, and Elise Willer. Did anyone have anyone else for whom we're observing your site this week? In this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, our tradition is that everyone rises, but if it's your tradition to do so, I invite you to rise as together we praise your name. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 154.
Yit Gadal ve'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divra chirute ve'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yeheh Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shmei kusha, brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom mirumav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Amen.
May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. You may be seated. Thank you.
Zichronam livracha, may all of their names be for a blessing, and Mazel Tov.
We have to invite somebody up here. You want to do the honors? We have a closing song.
Here we do. Ivy.
Ivy. We are turning, sorry, I'm supposed to give you a page number for that.
156.
We are turning to page 156, and Ivy's going to lead us in our closing song. Asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'ed nasa v'chefzo kol Azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hove v'hu yiyeh b'tifara v'hu echad ve'en sheni lehamshilo lehachbira b'lei reshit b'lei tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'hamizra v'hu eli v'chai goali v'tzor chevli be'et sahara v'hu nisi umanos li menat kosi b'yom ekra be'yado afkir ruchi be'et ishan ve'ahira ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira. Thank you. Get the Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
Go for it.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, we are going to sanctify Shabbat with a kiddush, and we are going to do a motzi so that you can join us in that yummy French, I'm not kidding, gluten-free, dairy-free French Kiddush luncheon. So before we can do that, though, we're going to have to bless some bread. So we're calling upon Papa and Grandma to help with this. We're going to do a one-line Kiddush first, and then we'll do a motzi. Go ahead.
Eloheinu melech haolam,
Borei peri hagafen. Too late. Amen. Chug, chug, chug.
Amen.
You get to hear the chugging. Go ahead. Grab that. You want to help? Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. B'tei avon. Enjoy. Tear that sucker.
Do you want some?
There's more for everybody if you join us in the
You just
the
take that.
Kiddush
You don't- you
luncheon.
take this.
But at this point, before you
take
can leave, I invite you to please rise. Remember that if you happen to have any trash, there's a trash can over there
They want some.
on your way out.
Take some off.
Please rise for the closing benediction.
Y'all can have this.
You gonna help?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna help with this.
She wants to help. Does that surprise you? She's my partner. She's my prayer buddy today. You ready? Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be lifted up to you. Like I said to her a minute ago, God's got something that God looks up to you about. It's not fate. God needs your help with decisions too, we said. May God bless you with peace. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Now, hey, take this off. Last time I went out with it.